Welcome into Media Row Live with the Raiders, and what better to have a Hall of Famer Raider to kick it off today, Marcus Allen.
A Bruin and a Trojan, side by side.
You know, I'm a Trojan too, so we've outweighed him.
Sandwiched over here.
That's okay.
Fight on.
That's right.
Fight on. Hey, Marcus, it's always good to catch up with you. Last time I saw you was at our guy Eric Allen's Hall of Fame induction.
Yep.
I loved you giving a little shout out to, what is it, 6'1"? I've got to get it right. 619? Do I have
619.
619.
858, brother.
858, right?
So.
You've known our guy Eric for a while.
Grew up in the same neighborhood. Unfortunately, he went to Point Loma. He bust out of the neighborhood to go to school and stuff. And I just often wonder, I mean, if Ricky Williams, if Reggie Bush, if Eric Allen, if Rashaan Salam, and I'm sure I'm missing somebody, if they all stayed in the neighborhood and went to Lincoln High School, we would have had the most incredible record.
Yeah. Talk about the value of the running back position and what you see in Ashton Jeanty.
Well, the game is really decided with physicality, and the running back is the one that really sets that tempo, right? And I've often said that the running game is the only part of the game that can make your opponent surrender. If you're throwing the ball all over the place, your defense never gets tired. Right. They don't get into a physical matchup. And even as a defensive back, you can be all over a wide receiver. He can make the catch, and you can make the excuse like, okay, I didn't locate the ball, or there's always some excuses that can be made. But when somebody's kicking your ass at the line of scrimmage, that's ownership, dude.
Wears
and that's
down.
where you wear teams down and you physically see your heads drop. That's complete ownership.
Yeah.
That's when you know you've dominated and you won the game. So really at the line of scrimmage, that's where the running game is most impactful. And in addition to, it takes a lot of heat off the quarterback. 'Cause if you can run the ball well, then you can play action, and you don't have to get in, if you're getting stopped at the line of scrimmage on the first down play, then it's second and long, third and long if you don't complete it. So it just gives the offense more options when you're running well, and it ain't heavy. The ball's not heavy.
No.
So we like to tote it. So
and like you said, if you kind of break it down, it sounds so simple, football 101, but if you get 3 yards on the first down, 2 yards on the second down, 3 yards, you're looking at third and short every single time.
And that's what's really important.
Yeah, and I think whichever coach doesn't abandon it in this game, because I think when you get a lead, sometimes, you'll start to run it, or, you'll be behind, you'll start to throw it. And when you're behind, maybe stick with the run game a little bit longer so you can get back in it. And I think coaches abandon it too early.
Well, Seattle early in the year weren't running the ball well, but now they're running the ball. Unfortunately, Charbonnet got hurt.
Yeah.
And that's a really good 1-2 combination. I mean, that's a forceful combination because it's almost like thunder and lightning.
Yeah.
I mean, and Zach was the thunder, you know what I mean? So it is just the running game is going to be critical, and I think it's going to help protect the quarterback. But if you, and especially if they don't run the ball well, if the Patriots don't run the ball well, their pass protection hasn't been great throughout the playoffs. So they've given up a lot of sacks during only 4-man rushes.
Oh, wow.
So, and we know Seattle likes to bring the heat and everything, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
If you know you got $90 million in cap space, you got a new head coach, what would you want to add to the roster to give
Line
you
of
a better...
scrimmage.
Yep.
Now, my hat goes off to Ashton. I think he was hit more than any back in the league. And yet, there was never any, I didn't see, obviously, any... I'm sure he was frustrated, but never visibly showed it. Right? And for a younger player, that's great. The running back is probably the easiest position to transition into the National Football League, right? Corner's difficult. Playing quarterback is obviously difficult because you're faced with so many different looks that you have to be able to recognize those things immediately. But running back is the easiest position to trans. The toughest thing for running backs is penetration. And so again, when I said he got hit in the backfield more than any back in the league, we never really got a chance to see what he's capable of doing
Totally.
because
He couldn't get to the second level.
he never really got an opportunity. And we saw glimpses of if you do block for him, what could happen. You know what I mean? So you just need like a, initial opening. And what all great backs say is just don't allow penetration and maybe I can make something happen.
Yeah.
But as soon as you get the ball and there at your ankles, it's not a good sign.
No.
So I would focus on the line of scrimmage.
can
And it
be all
doesn't
the big
matter who the
linemen.
quarterback is.
Yeah, bring all the big boys, bring them all in whether through the draft or, I mean, look at like somebody like Jim Harbaugh. He's drafted linemen and the last 2 out of 3 first rounds. He's smart. He knows
we can't
that
play
you're gonna
without
run the
him.
football.
We get all the glory. We
Yeah.
get all the attention.
Yeah.
And we honestly do. Wide receivers, quarterbacks, we can't play without those guys. And if they're good, you're really good.
Yeah.
Right? So we need to establish the line of scrimmage and be good down the middle, center, 2 guards, and obviously tackles. And the center is really important because that allows the quarterback to step up.
Yeah.
That's the only time really quarterbacks get spooked. They don't get spooked on the edge because they can step up. But if guys are in their faces, that's where let me get rid of this ball. I'm throwing it a lot earlier than I want to because I don't want to get hit. And there's I've seen it before, and it doesn't matter if it's Brady or it's Joe Montana.
No.
Any pressure up the middle is not good.
Yeah. All right, we want to play a little game with you. We're going to put it up on the screen here. So we want to build your all-time Raiders offense. You got $10. Now you're the most expensive running back on the board.
You super
So if you want to go ahead and splurge $4 on yourself, we'll understand that. But you got a budget around that. This is a tough one. One of each. It's got to add up to 10.
Wait. Okay, we got tight ends. Oh, listen, I'm
think
going with
I'm
Todd Christensen.
You're going with Todd? Okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
How
Okay.
much is
I'm going with Todd
Todd is
Todd is
$3.
$3.
Todd
Because
is
I played
$3.
with Todd.
Okay.
Okay. Oh my God, this is a tough one.
Yeah.
Wide receiver. So I'm gonna start from bottom up.
You got $3. You have $7 to spend.
I got some.
You got $7 to spend.
Everybody wants to spend more money.
Yeah.
Okay, listen here. I'm going with Cliff Branch.
That's a good one. See, we think
Right.
that's the best value. There's
Now-
2
That's a
guys
good
on there
one.
that are good
Yeah.
value.
Now I can stretch the field, right?
Yeah.
Todd got the intermediate, right?
Yeah.
And obviously I can run the ball as well as catch the ball as well as throw the ball.
Oh, so you're going
And
with
block.
Really,
And
yes,
block.
and block. So
That's a lot
then
for
the-
$4. That's a
then
lot
the
of value.
quarterback is, oh my God, this is like,
You're left with Derek Carr.
oh, listen
You
here.
have to take Derek because of the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
4,
it?
5, 6,
Yeah.
79. Yeah, you got $1, so you going with DC. he's like, let me at it.
You want to start? You want to start from the
You want
top?
to start from the top? I just go down.
Hey, it's hard to ignore, obviously, Stabler. It's hard to ignore Plunkett. And then I played Rich Gannon.
See, I think that's
Yeah.
good value. I think a quarterback, I'd go with, he was an MVP, like $2 for Rich. I think it's a good place to start. Then you can afford a very expensive market
Yes, so
talent.
and
then work down from there.
I kind of went the wrong direction.
You did.
and now again, it comes down to quarterback, and there's a frustration on my part. Like, who do I pick, right? Because I like all of them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, there's a lot of good Raiders
But
fans.
I like Rich
But who's-
because Rich is a gym rat.
Yeah.
He scrambles. He throws the ball underhanded. He throws it left, and whatever's necessary, he
gets it done.
So I can't have $11 in this deal.
No. Yeah.
Wait a second.
You don't think John Spytek's like, could I just get, 20 million more? I would love
Wait a
20 million
second.
more.
Yeah, I'm not asking for 20. I'm just
$1.
I'm talking about
Can I get $1?
I'm talking about. Hey, come on. I'm talking about a.
It's tough.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's where I have to go because I can't.
That's so funny.
Well,
This is a tough game to play.
All right, if we eventually have to wrap it up, Marcus.
Yeah, we're gonna
let
let
Marcus
get a timeout.
Yeah,
No,
and go
yeah.
out
yeah, he's
the
gonna
love.
figure this out.
No, we'll
We'll figure it out. We're gonna post it. Yeah, we'll post it. All right,
right.
Marcus Allen. It's always
Now,
fun hanging out with you.
assuming I have the line to protect him, right?
Yeah, he's getting really deep. Who was it that was looking for like a kick return specialist? And no, we're just building the basics
All right,
offense.
good, all right.
Marcus, so fun to see you, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Have fun
Thank
here
you.
at the
Thank
Super Bowl.
Yo, that's a tough game right here.
It is. Much more to come
$10
here on
budget.
Raiders Live.
How do you build a
He's
team,
still
right?
going from Media Row. Stick
Yeah.
around. Back here with Jeffri Chadiha from NFL Media, and it's always good to hang out with you.
I love it.
And catch up. You always know all the storylines, especially the AFC West.
Uh-huh.
I know. Are you still based out of Kansas City?
I am.
Okay, so you saw the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, right?
Oh, man. You're going right in with that.
Just had to remind you
Yes.
of that. But neither did the Raiders. And look, the Raiders are a team that has a lot of upside because of the cap space, because of the #1 overall pick, new coach expected. What do you think needs to happen with the Raiders in order to be competitive in what looks like a completely new AFC West?
Well, two things. Get the quarterback right and get the coach right. Because you look around the AFC West and every other team has that fixed. You've got Andy Reid, you've got Jim Harbaugh, you've got Sean Payton, you got Bo Nix, you got Justin Herbert, you got Patrick Mahomes. To compete with those combinations, you got to come in with a foundation where the quarterback and the coach are on the same page, have great potential. I love to talk about Clint Kubiak being that guy. Obviously, Fernando Mendoza is going to be the top pick. I love what I've seen from him. But if you can get that right, now you're in the game with having a chance to win that division.
Do you think that's right? Do you think Fernando Mendoza goes #1?
I don't know who else it could be now. I mean,
Well, you could trade the pick.
You could, but man, would you do that? I mean, it'd be different if you had a Sam Darnold out there or somebody who you thought could come in and do what he did for Seattle this year. And I think that's an interesting conversation to be had about middle-class quarterbacks and what they can bring to the table. Guys like Baker Mayfield, like Sam Darnold. But yeah, I think it's got to be him. I can't think of trading that pick and not getting a quarterback out of this draft.
When you look around the Raiders roster, where do you think, other than quarterback, some of the biggest holes are that'll be crucial to 2026?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously you've got to get better at receiver. You've got to get better on defense. You know,
It's a list.
It's a list. It's a long list.
Which is why, you know, some people do say trade the pick and fill some of those, but
you
that's
know
a
what,
hard thing to do.
But you know what? Look at New England. And if we had this conversation last year about New England Patriots, we would not have said, look out, they're coming to take over the AFC.
Nobody thought that.
But they made some savvy moves with some big salary cap space, brought in some good veteran free agents. Quarterback got right, drafted well. A lot of their draft picks played. Will Campbell, Travion Henderson made big impacts. So there is a roadmap here. It's not easy, but there is a roadmap for that to happen.
I think that's what's tough for head coaches now, right?
Yeah.
You can look at Mike Vrabel and owners are going, well, he did it in a year. You know, and it's is it a shorter leash because of that?
I definitely think that. And you look at, Sean McDermott lost his job this year. Jim Harbaugh lost his job. Mike Tomlin resigned, but certainly that Pittsburgh was not going the right direction when he left there. And so, yeah, when those kind of coaches are out of work or moving on, you definitely feel like if you're somebody who hasn't won a championship, doesn't have that sterling resume, you're certainly going to be facing more pressure. But I think those guys also understand that too. And they understand the importance of coming in, having an immediate impact, talking. Mike Vrabel came in talking about winning the division.
Yeah.
They come in talking about a 2-year, 3-year plan, so they have to come in and get stuff done fast.
How do you think having somebody, you've covered Tom Brady for so long, so many Super Bowls, having him now as in ownership can affect a franchise?
Well, I think the big thing is the expectation. He knows what it looks like. He's been around championship caliber teams. He's won championships in multiple places. And so he understands, not just, we get so caught up in the personnel part of it, right? But it really is bringing the right players in, bringing in guys who want to buy in. Again, I go back to New England and what Mike Vrabel's done there. You ask the average person, they probably couldn't name more than 5 players off that team.
Yeah.
Even now.
Even now.
But most of the people who came in were guys who wanted to win, guys who were good people. And Brady's been around that, so he knows the importance of not just the stars, but those second, third day picks, the free agents who are undrafted, those guys coming in and helping you set a foundation for a culture.
Your Kansas City Chiefs, I know you cover them very closely.
Not mine, Kansas City Chiefs.
I know you're a
Okay, I'm
journalist,
there.
but you
I'm
live
there.
there. They're not yours.
Okay.
But they are a division foe of the Raiders. How do you think they reload this year?
Well, that's a great
We got to
question.
keep our eye on the competition.
Yeah,
you know?
it's a great question. Be honest with you, a lot of people are concerned in Kansas City. You wouldn't think that after all the success they've had, but they worry about the scheme has gotten stale. They worry about the amount of talent. When Patrick Mahomes tore his ACL and that team took the field for the last 3 games, it did not look good. It was pretty rough.
Yeah.
And so they've got to find more playmakers.
They did not look like a good team.
No. And the big thing is their stars didn't play like stars anymore. Travis Kelce had a good year, not a great year. Chris Jones was good, not great. And so they got to find more stars, and they got to find more role players who can deliver for them.
How about the Broncos? Again, I don't think anybody had the Broncos and the Patriots in the AFC Championship game.
No.
And when I say the AFC West really felt a shift this year, the entire AFC did. But can we look at what the Broncos did as a little bit of a blueprint for turning a team around within 3 years since Sean Payton took over?
Definitely. And I think the big thing, again, is for a lot of people, it's easier to get better on defense fast because you've got, you don't not relying so much on one guy, the quarterback, to make it all work, right? So if you can go find some talented players on defense, the Broncos have drafted really well. People forget that aside from Patrick Surtain and maybe one other person, a lot of those guys are day 2, day 3 picks.
Yeah.
Right? And so Nick Benito was not a first-round pick.
He was not.
Donovan Cooper was not a first-round pick. Riley Moss was not. And so
Yeah.
those guys have helped them do well. But weathering the storm financially, making that big decision with Russell Wilson saying, we're going to eat this money and move on.
That's a veteran coach, though, knowing what he wanted, and that wasn't what he wanted. Look, Clint Kubiak, we don't know if he's going to be announced, but it's suspected that could be him. He is still yet to coach in the Super Bowl. What do you think would make him a good candidate for the Raiders head coaching position?
Well, a lot of what I just said about New England, and I thought when Sam Darnold went to Seattle, how is this going to look?
Yeah.
He doesn't have Justin Jefferson. He doesn't have all these weapons. Doesn't have Kevin O'Connell. And Clint Kubiak was the difference there. And so to be able to have a coach who can take a quarterback like that and see his strengths, put him in the best possible position, again, going back to that quarterback-coach chemistry, now you know the guy coming in the door at that position is going to be coached really well.
Yeah.
And so he's also been around a coach who's been around a team that has a good defense and understands there's a lot of things that go into winning, not just me being a genius.
Yeah, and you appreciate that, right? I think the offensive genius is very overrated. I think we found that out, especially with the Raiders going back a couple years. All right. Well, hey, no, that genius is in the Super Bowl. Like, I got to give him respect. Josh McDaniels in the Super Bowl, great offensive coordinator, didn't work out as a head coach. Jeffri Chadiha, thanks for being here with us.
Thank you. Always great to see you.
Always good to hang out with you.
Same here.
Hanging out here on Media Row with Rashad Jennings. You guys remember him from the Silver and Black.
Right, that's right, that's right.
1 year in
1 year
with the Raiders. It was the best year of your life, though, right?
Oh, you had no doubt. Seriously, literally, it was. I was the MVP of the team. I was the player. I went to work.
Yeah, you did. What do you remember? I mean, that was back in the Oakland days. What do you remember about that team and some of your players, your friends you played with?
As soon as you say that back in the Oakland days, I instantly went back to that baseball field. That's it. That's my immediate instinct. I remember the facilities where the ceilings were really low in the weight room. I remember we didn't have a cafeteria. I remember, but every single week, I remember the black hole showing up no matter what. But I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. I love the system. I love the way we ran the ball. I love the mentality I got a chance to display. And so I actually was so disappointed when I wasn't a Raider the following year. But all that's in the past.
It's
all
in the
that's
past.
in the past.
We
all
still,
now you're a big TV star.
They say once a Raider, still always a Raider, though.
Yeah, TV.
I'm here.
Mark Davis,
I mean, look at him.
That's
You're
right.
in TV now. You're
Yes.
over at Good Morning Football, NFL Media. How did you like the transition to the broadcast world?
I'm loving it. It's fun. You know, you get to sit back, chop it up by the sport you love, play it all your life. You know the intricacies, you know the details, and it's cool to kind of give a perspective to the audience of how we're seeing it. You know, being in that locker room, how I felt when these moments happen, when a coach is, either making a call that's questionable. How does a player feel about that? When trades happen, how does a player feel? I get to give that analysis of exactly what we're going through, what we're thinking while we're in the locker room hearing this information. So it's fun. And again, like you just sitting back talking trash about something you love. You know what I mean? It's so fun.
Take me back to that Oakland baseball diamond, right? Was that advantageous? And was there like a trick or like a little ditch or something that you knew if I
don't
get
trip
him
over the
here?
outfield.
A little sweet spot.
Don't trip over the
sweet
outfield,
spot. No, I hated that dirt, man, because I'm a heavy guy. I'm heavy. I wear a size 14 shoe. You give me the ball in that dirt, and I can't cut. Only thing I can do is just run straight and hope everybody get out the way. But as soon as we get in that grass again,
you good.
I was like, yo, where this guy come from?
So the dirt was no good.
The dirt deserved the dirt. That's what it got.
You know what? But such such great memories for Raider Nation.
It is.
The Coliseum will always hold a special place.
What about that, though, that I really like about playing in the dirt? Like, everything advances in life. Yeah. I'm going to be able to tell my kids one day, right? Because the stadiums are transitioned to indoor, turf everywhere. I'm going to show him some nostalgic film.
Yeah.
He going to be like, Dad, what you played on?
Yeah. It's like, did you wear leather helmet?
Gladiator.
What is happening?
I told you I was real, son. We played in the dirt. We walked miles to the practice. I'm going to give him a crazy
uphill in the snow, right? Ashton Jeanty, we've had a lot of running backs on the show today. So we've done a lot of running back discussion. But just in general, when you look at this Raiders offense, what needs to be added? Of course, it starts with the quarterback. We all know that. But there's so much focus on that quarterback position. What would be the next position that you really focus on to build on this roster?
Well, when you think about the quarterback position, that's premier. Yeah. So the next thing you do is think about how to protect that. Yeah. You protect them by many of things. A good run game, how do you get that offensive line? A good pass game, how? You got to have good protection. So everything really circles around those 5 guys in the trenches up front. Solidifying that spot will give every person on the offensive side of the weapons time. Yeah. Time to operate, time to go through the progression. So I think we solidify the offensive line, focus on that. I think you can see a quick turnaround because if you look very similarly to what Ben Johnson was able to do with the Chicago Bears, and what did he do? He brought in 3 Pro Bowler offensive linemen.
Yeah.
They got some weapons on the other side of the ball.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so the recipe is like, how do we protect the franchise quarterback? Bring one in, right? Protect him. Yeah. We got Ashton Jeanty. We got Brock Bowers. Ashton got 1,000 yards with very limited holes.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, he stays healthy. It's a different game. We're going to bring in a receiver. Like, I'm excited for where this can go, especially. I don't know if it's official yet with Kubiak. Is that official
yet?
Not
official, but that's the buzz.
So,
looking at the Seahawks offense, you've been analyzing it all week. If Clint Kubiak is the coach, how can that translate to Vegas?
Big time. I think what Clinton's been able to do and focus on, I just take you back to the divisional games. He was able to dial up so many plays to put JS in unique spots, whether he was in the backfield, whether he's in a slot, whether he's playing an X, and they're dialed up. They're not, here's our offense, we're going to run it no matter what you think, right? You are like that sometimes physically in the run game. Mm-hmm. We're line up, we run, and power made the best team win, right? But when you get in the pass game, you get a little bit more complicated, right? I can put you in positions where I catch you off guard, and I think that's what Clint's been able to do in Seattle to clean it up for the whole entire offense, especially Sam Darnold coming over there. And I think he's going to make whoever the Raiders quarterback is very comfortable and be efficient.
Amazing.
Rashad Jennings, we appreciate you being here with us.
Bro.
I know Raider Nation likes seeing you again. Thank you.
And this guy's a great dancer. Don't forget the dancer. Dancing with the
Stars
of Love.
We got all these dancers here.
I mean,
good athletes, good dancers.
I mean, football, dancing. I can't compete, man. Thank you for coming out,
Thanks
bro.
a lot.
Appreciate y'all.
Back here for Raiders Live at Media Row and catching up with my good friend. Well, Baron Davis is here, and my good friend. Well, we can't forget about him, but
I'm not her friend.
Hey, my new best friend, Colleen Wolfe from NFL Media. So good to see you,
Hey,
Colleen.
it's great to be here. I was just saying, you guys have like a perfect spot in the middle of everything. It's awesome.
Yeah, and we get to see everybody. Look, there's Ryan Leaf. He's just hanging. He doesn't know he's on Raiders Live.
He doesn't
at
know.
all. Colleen, when you look at, I mean, I know you're covering the Super Bowl, but you cover all 32 teams. And when you look at the Raiders and their future, and I know we're awaiting a coaching announcement coming up, why do you think this might be a premier coaching vacancy for someone to step into?
Well, first of all, there's so much to love about the Raiders. They're in Vegas. Like, if we're talking about quality of life, going to Vegas, that's a great spot to be in.
Yeah.
Also, it's my favorite stadium in the entire NFL. Allegiant is elite. Mm-hmm. I love everything about it. It was, when the Super Bowl was there, it was so much fun. It was the last stadium that I had to check off my list, and it was just like everything that I hoped it would be.
Yeah.
But beyond that, you obviously have this draft pick coming up, which you get the pick of the litter. It's going to be Mendoza.
Yeah.
So you get to have that. You already have Ashton Jeanty. So if we're talking about Clint Kubiak as, let's just say hypothetically, this is the head coach of the Raiders. If that happens, he can do so many different things and use Ashton Genty sort of like the Seahawks use Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, exactly.
And they have so many different similarities between them that when you bring in a talent like Mendoza and then you have Genty too, you have just like all of these things that you can build on. And I think that, I mean, this feels like it could be a situation where, I'm not saying it's going to be as quick of a turnaround as Ben Johnson with Caleb Williams, but when you have a offensive-minded coach and you have someone who can take this talent and really put it together, like I think that the turnaround could be in the near future for the Raiders. So I love it as a spot.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And you've seen teams turn it around. Narrative, New England Patriots, right? Talk about
How quickly.
this new parody or like this new regime of football where it feels like every team feels like they're a year.
In it. You're
or
a
2
year
years
away.
I know. And I was thinking about that specifically for this year because it felt like this year in general, everything kind of went the opposite way that people thought it would. There were so many anomalies, quote unquote. But then it was like everyone is doing this. And it was week after week. And you see these teams turn things around where week 4, you're like, I can't, I'm not buying it yet. Week 8.
I felt like that about the Seahawks all the way. I
Yes.
still feel like that today. But I think yesterday I changed I was like, okay, they're good.
Right, like fine, I'll get on
Yeah,
board.
they're fine,
I
yeah.
remember Greg Rosenthal, who we used to work with at NFL Network together, and he said it had to have been, it was early in the year, maybe it was in like the beginning of October, and he said, the Seahawks are the most talented team in the NFL. And I was like, wow,
whatever.
Greg, this is like, you are going out on a limb here. And he was right. He was right with just how stacked this team is.
Yeah.
Their defense is so good. But back to your point, just in the turnaround, what Mike Rabel has done with the Patriots and the way that they went from, I know that they had an easy schedule, sure, but going from 4 wins to 14 wins and the streak that they went on and the buy-in, like you could just see the players that had been there for already some time. They came out and what he was able to get from them, like the talent that they were able to push themselves to the next level. And, we've heard stories about Stephon Diggs being sort of that like light and getting people to really like get into their zone and to find their peak and their next level. But it's just, I think, a testament to what a great coach Mike Rabel is and how he resonates with those players.
I'll tell you, I feel like, this because you look at the big brands of the NFL, I should say, and doesn't it feel like certain teams, when they're good, the NFL is better? Like I feel like the Raiders, there's like the Bears, the Cowboys. Like, when those teams are good, it's better for the NFL. And do you feel like from the outside looking in, there's no better team than the Raiders? I mean, the Raiders are always a top 5 sports brand, whether they're winning or losing. That's why I think Raider Nation is so excited to see if this team was winning again, how great it could be on a global level.
Right. You're right, because I always say it's like the Tiffany's franchises. Like you have the Cowboys, the Giants, like you have these like original big fan base teams, and the Raiders, I can't believe I didn't even mention it off the top when I was listing all of the reasons why it'd be a great spot to go to, Vegas, because you even just look at the logo and like the merchandise, the branding.
Everybody wants to wear
general.
silver and black.
It's so cool. It's so classic. It's so perfect. It's like old school. They never changed, and that's part of the lore of it. And like now they just need to back it up with the wins, because if the Raiders were in this position, imagine if the Raiders were in the Super Bowl, what this
Be
place
amazing.
That'd be
would
crazy.
be like.
It would be all black. I can tell you that right now.
The Raiders fans are so fun.
Yeah.
They go all out all the time, and I give them so much credit because no matter what the team is doing, they are still dressed up, ready to rock, ready to party. They know how to have a great time, and I'm so on board with it.
I just want to see them win. Well, Colleen, thanks so much for all your time. I know you got all your coverage on Game Day Morning on NFL Media, so check that out. But it's good to catch up with you, my
Hey,
friend.
great to see you guys.
Look forward
Go
to seeing you.
Raiders.
Go Raiders.
Back here at Raiders Live from Media Row, and we get all the journalists coming through here that know everything about the NFL, and nobody better than my friend Judy Battista from NFL Media. It's good to see you, Judy. How you doing?
Good to see you, Amber.
Well, I don't know if, do you know Baron Davis?
We just met.
Just met.
Just met.
We're all best friends. Yes. He's a Cali guy, you're a New York person, but you are always on top of all the stories. And when you look at the coaching searches for 10 teams in the NFL, which is, it's crazy. You have a very short amount of time to succeed now in the NFL. And I'm gonna blame Mike McDonald and Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
Right?
You heard owners say it this year. You
Yeah.
actually, Mike Bidwell said it in Arizona, like, look around at these fast turnarounds. So you know owners are looking around and seeing that and saying, why can't that be us?
So, and that brings up what the Raiders have done. Yes, there's been a lot of coaches come through the Raiders, and you almost have to give Mark Davis and Tom Brady credit, because they could have said, you know what, the optics, it looks bad to go another one and done, but they knew it wasn't right for their franchise. Yeah. They knew they wanted somebody different. So from the outside looking in, was that actually the smart decision? When you do look around and say you can find the right person and be there in a year.
It clearly wasn't working, and it wasn't working all season, right? It's not like it just fell apart at the end. I mean, it wasn't working. Mm-hmm. And I think, you can look at the New England Patriots, who had exactly the same thing, right? They had a coach who they elevated in Gerard Mayo. It wasn't working, and they pulled the plug. And yes, sometimes you're pulling the plug too fast and you're not giving people the opportunity to grow, but that wasn't the case here. They had hired a coach in Pete Carroll who had a lot of experience, and they were hoping who could immediately solidify the team and take off. It didn't happen. You need to reset at that point, especially because you're going to have the #1 draft pick, and so you want to reset and have everybody going all at the same time, growing together.
Yeah.
Is that becoming a trend, just the expectation for owners and the turnaround? I mean, you can honestly say it's been just 1 year, right? Before the reign of the Kansas City Chiefs or, Philadelphia's dominance. Do you think there's a changing of the guard and owners are going to start demanding more of that?
I do. Listen, I think owners looked at what happened in Jacksonville and Chicago and said, and Mike McDonald, it's only 2 years in Seattle. Like, I think you're looking at those coaches and saying, like, well, wait a minute. Like, we don't need a 5-year build. Mm-hmm. Why do we need a 5-year build? What about a 2-year build? So I do think owners are seeing that. I think they probably have wrecked it for everybody. I think Ben Johnson and Mike Vrabel really wrecked it for the other coaches. Yeah. Because I think owners are going to say, like, well, they did it. Why can't we do this?
And I think especially, too, in the AFC, to see such a shift has been interesting. I mean, if you would have told me that the playoffs would not involve the Kansas City Chiefs, the Ravens, I would have said you're crazy going into this year. But it does speak to the parity. Having in the AFC Championship game the Patriots and the Broncos. I mean, when we look at those teams, though, we see that they both have solid coaches, right? Right. But I think the key is the quarterback, right? They both have quarterbacks that they were able to draft and get production out of within a year or two. Right. The Raiders have the #1 pick. Yes. Do you think the right place to go is with Fernando Mendoza just because he's the best quarterback?
You don't even have to continue the question. Yes.
Because Donovan McNabb came up here and said, with all the needs the Raiders have, maybe you trade down and you fill all those needs.
Yeah.
I have a great deal of respect for Donovan McNabb, and I don't want to argue with him because he knows more about football than anybody. But I think Fernando Mendoza is not just a really good quarterback. He is exactly the kind of person you need to be the face of the franchise, to be a leader in the locker room. All of that has to happen for the Raiders now, right? Like, you are completely resetting. You're going to have a first-time head coach. You're going to need a quarterback who can lead. He can do that. He's really smart. He's really personable. He's a great representative of a franchise. I mean, obviously, he's just a personable kid. Like, fans will love him. Yeah. He's exactly what you need, and he can play football. So I think he is the perfect fit for this. And I think if we assume it's going to be Clint Kubiak, it can't be official for a few more days.
Yeah, you said a first-year head coach. I was like,
I know.
Sure.
I don't know if
you know something we don't
but
know.
Like, let's say, for example, maybe it's Clint, but that's perfect. You marry a young head coach with the quarterback, and you let them develop and evolve together. I think that is the way to go.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, Judy Battista, we appreciate all your time with us.
It's always great to be with you.
Yeah, always has the information. Hopefully you'll stop by again soon. Back here, Raiders Live from Media Row, and Cynthia Frelund, part of our Raiders family. You can catch her on Raiders.com, on the Raiders YouTube channel, also at NFL Media. Look, Baron Davis is a big fan.
I love him.
He hearts math just like you heart math.
I mean, there's some dancing math we could do. We should have done analytics for dancing.
Dancing
you know,
with the Stars. It would have been a good mix.
we should have done it.
But Cynthia, I gotta get the probability here. All right, so what is the probability that the Raiders will choose Fernando Mendoza with the #1 overall pick? Do you have that yet? Have we done any algorithms?
I did my first mock draft, and I did give the Raiders Fernando Mendoza. But here's what I'm going to say. There is a world where I think, look, I would tell everyone I love him. I would be over to his house every day. I would go, obviously, to his games. I would have it wear an I heart Fernando. Like, I would have the whole thing. Indiana.
Yeah, Fernando forever.
Forever with a, like, forever with an
forever.
E at the end. Right, yeah. So, but then I would at least consider on draft day or whatever taking a haul, because look at what the precedent that has been set from Sauce Gardner. The number of first-round draft picks for a corner in the middle of the season, including a player in exchange, you could get so many. And this year, I do think we see maybe more quarterbacks moving around the league than ever before. So perhaps they orchestrate something ahead of free agency where you get just like, I don't know, like this many first-round. There aren't a lot of. There's the difference between 1 and 2 in quarterback draft this season is pretty stark, and the Raiders have a lot of money. So you could afford to do some pretty interesting things. There's a lot of flexibility there. So it's at least something to consider.
But is there a sense of urgency, right? Do you feel like there's a sense of urgency for the Raiders to compete now, just like last year, or do we have the time with a new regime coming in?
I think that what I'm going to say is there's a patient progress. So I think this is a really difficult division. Broncos seem pretty good, you know, pretty good. There's a guy, Patrick Mahomes, pretty good.
Pretty good.
Justin, whatever, he's pretty good too. So I would imagine growth in the right direction with a plan. So having it look like 8 and 9, I know that doesn't sound sexy. We all want to go to the Super Bowl, we get it. But growth in the right direction, building around a culture that feels like the Raider way, building around, I get it, just win, baby, I know all about that, but you have to build from the pieces and the blocks. And there's been a lot of change and disruption over the past few years, so I think patient progress, not progress.
But I'll tell you, it's tough to win 8 games in the AFC West if you don't have a quarterback, right? Because
you need a quarterback. Let me be clear, but I think you're going to get a lot of free agents moving around this year.
Who do you think would be available? Like, who do you think could move around? We
Who
can't.
do I like?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I like Mac Jones.
I think that would be.
I love the San Francisco rehab.
Yes.
Worked for Sam Darnold, didn't it?
It's
right.
I don't think he needs to be perfect, but I think he's really good. And I think there's a guy that works for the Raiders he's a part owner in the Raiders that knows a thing or two about how to make quarterbacks great. So I think that would be a good fit.
Okay, I'm playing devil's advocate. Couldn't you risk kind of what happened this year where we saw the second act quarterbacks kind of shuffle around and a couple of them did really well, like Daniel Jones and Sam Darnold.
Sure.
Amazing. They had their second acts. And then the Raiders kind of the musical chair stopped and Geno Smith, who was probably the more probable one to have a good year,
for sure.
did not. And I think why Raider Nation might be a little bit like, just get the #1 quarterback, because they're scared of that movie being played again. We've already seen the ending.
I understand the fear, but I would argue let's look at the real cause of the problem. It's just like any disease. Do you treat the symptoms or do you treat the actual problem? If you don't have a good O-line in this league, you're going to have a hard time. I don't care who your quarterback is. Look what happened to Patrick Mahomes this year.
Yeah.
And someone in the division, obviously, we don't like the Chiefs, I understand, but Patrick Mahomes is probably the best quarterback we've got. So he had a bad year because his O-line could not keep him upright. They didn't even make the playoffs. So when I'm looking at what the Raiders I don't care. Wait, can we get 10 O-linemen?
Yeah, right.
like how many do we need? Because let's go with that.
$90 million, like 89 need to be on the offensive line.
But realistically, load up at the positions to give the quarterback a chance to be great. And then, by the way, that also helps Ashton Genty. If you look at how many times he got hit at or behind the line of scrimmage, meaning that's not even his fault. How many times did that happen? A lot, right? He had the third most forced missed tackles in the league, but they were happening behind the line of scrimmage.
Right.
Yeah.
That's really hard to get past, no matter who you are. You could name your greatest quarterback ever it's going to be really hard to succeed in this modern pass rushing era of football if you don't have a good O-line.
The importance of free agency, right? Not only building through the draft, but the importance of free agency in today's, NFL.
So free agency, especially lately, has become even more like basketball, closer. Okay, it's not anywhere near basketball because y'all are nuts with your contracts. But ultimately, when it comes to football free agency, a lot of it has to do with there's a first wave of free agency where these big names go, and then there's like the second wave. You are seeing two really important free agents in this Super Bowl game. One came from each. Milton Williams, high-ticket, high-price guy in the interior of the defense for the Patriots. That guy's been hugely important, massively important, right? Came from the Eagles. Then you see DeMarcus Lawrence. He went in that second wave of free agents. He's an older guy, pass rusher, but he's part of the reason why the Seahawks have had such great success rushing the passer, because they got the right mix of who are they spending money on and where are they looking for high upside or good return on investment guys. So you have to be smart about all of it and have a cohesive plan. It has to go from 1 to 53. It can't go, 1 to 10.
It's such a great point because you look at, everybody says you have to have a good coach and a good quarterback. Okay, yes, you do to win. But if you look at a team like the Patriots, who had, I think it was Sally, who was telling us, had 30 new players overturned this year.
They spent the most money,
They
too.
spent the most money.
Yeah.
So it isn't just, you had a great quarterback, Drake May took another step, and you have a great coach. It's, you literally changed your whole roster to go in the direction that coach, his vision was.
Correct.
And that's lost.
Right.
Because you can overturn a roster for not a ton of money. Your key positions.
that's right.
But you can have some key contributors from 1 to 53 that can make a difference.
I don't mean to go into the heart of Raider Nation, but Robert Spillane. Right? Look, Bobby Spillane, look at what happens when the Patriots run defense has him on the field versus when he's not there. I know he came from Raiders, like I get it. We shouldn't get rid of him. I'm not saying that. I'm just whatever. But he wasn't the highest priced guy.
We're working through it.
Well,
we're working through it.
That's what therapists are for. but ultimately, guys like that are key contributers, but they have to fit the mold of what the defensive coordinator is trying to execute. Yeah. He is the meathead that Mike Vrabel desires.
I love that. That's for sure.
It's true.
Cynthia, we're going to see you on game day morning. Giving your, what is your prediction? Who's going to win the Super Bowl?
Who do you think?
Seahawks.
Just curious. Yeah.
I think the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
Yeah, I have a 6-point win for the Seahawks in a high-scoring game, actually. 27 to 21.
Oh, that would be fun because I think it's going to be defenses. Hey, we want to play a little game with you before we leave. We know you're the only one on set that can add. He and I cannot, so why not do this?
Well, I can add. I helped you.
You're a little better than me.
We have to help Donovan add. We have to help Donovan. So build your own all-time Raiders offense. You have $10 to spend.
Do I have to get? Here's my question.
One of each.
Only one of each?
Yeah, only one of each.
Got it.
Well, you can't have two quarterbacks.
No, not two quarterbacks.
It's not 12 personnel. You can't go with two
receivers.
Yeah,
okay.
No.
So I'm gonna actually start with my $2 tight end, which is Brock Bowers. Yep. I love him. I'm like such a huge fan, so I'm gonna keep him. I'm gonna go all out on wide receiver and spend my $4 on Tim Brown. I am a huge Tim Brown fan. Okay. I love watching his film to this day. One of my faves. So I'm gonna have to go with that one. Then. Listen, I love Rich Gannon. I am a huge Rich Gannon person, so that also means I therefore have Napoleon Kaufman as my running back.
There you go. Why not? Why not?
Yeah,
hey, Rich Gannon, best value on that board next to James Jones for $1. All right, thanks a lot.
Oh, I love James Jones too, but if I would have had two, he's worth more. Yeah, perfect. But I just loved Tim Brown so much.
I know.
Underrated it. Like people don't talk about him enough, so I had to give him
as a legend. Yeah. Cynthia, thanks so much, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Coming up next, NFL Media, Steve Wyche joins us from Media Row. You got a $10 budget, okay? And you got to pick a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and a tight end.
$4.
But I'm good. I'm good with Cliff Branch and Brock Bowers.
Let me get Cliff Branch.
Ooh, okay.
All right, receiver. My guy, Cliff Branch, the late, great Cliff Branch. Love talking to Cliff. Love that he's in the Hall of Fame.
And then I'm going to go wide receiver, Cliff Branch. So where am I? $2.46.
Freddie Blitnikoff. I know it's not, especially with salary cap.
I have him on the radio today. Fred Biletnikoff, Mr. Clutch, the greatest hands in Raider history.
I mean, you put some of my guys on this.
Exactly.
Like James Jones, I can't not pick James Jones. I'm gonna pay up for Tim Brown. I can't not pick James Jones.
Okay.
As much as I love James Jones, love you.
Wow. This gets really difficult. Tim Brown has to be on there for me.
I'm going to go all out on wide receiver and spend my $4 on Tim Brown. I am a huge Tim Brown fan.
Are you on that board next to James Jones for $1? All right, thanks a lot.
Oh, I love James Jones too, but
if
I would have had two, he was
He's worth
more
yeah,
than
perfect, perfect.
I'm going to run over to James Jones, big
Look at
receiver,
you, getting JJ.
part of the nation.
Welcome back to Raiders Live from Media Row, and we're hanging out with Steve Wyche from NFL Media's chief national correspondent. Did I get that right?
Titles don't
Whatever.
mean anything. It doesn't mean it.
He's like head honcho.
It's the game.
Head honcho.
It's the
I got
game.
BD. You know, now I used to cover the NBA back in the day, back when he was a youngster playing with the Hornets. He might have even been in New Orleans. That's how.
It was Charlotte.
It was Charlotte.
You covered. Then we moved to New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm told he had bounce.
What?
That was all right.
What?
It was okay.
I'm
I mean, it was
joking. I saw
no. He was. I mean, people paid to come see this man do his thing. No, Bear was the dude.
We had a great history, man. It was a great time
To be able to reflect back on in our careers, young, coming into the league, the sports and entertainment space, and now look at you, man, and see you. We're getting older, but we're getting more distinguished. You're so
refined.
distinguished.
It was before social media.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun.
Yes.
All right, Steve. I know you cover all the teams. You're covering the Super Bowl here for NFL Media, but you're very close to the Raiders and what's happening there.
Yep.
Just your opinion, not as a reporter, as an analyst.
Yep.
If you had the #1 overall pick and you were in the Raiders situation, would you take Fernando Mendoza or would you get a haul, as our friend Cynthia Frelund said?
No, I'd take Fernando Mendoza. I mean, you win with a quarterback. Look at the Super Bowl, right? Drake May in his second year. First year he went through it now. It was tough. It was tough. But you put the proper pieces around him. 2 years, man, they flipped it. And if things hold up to be true, if it is Clint Kubiak coming in here. Remember, this is a guy who's coached a lot of quarterbacks. And even before he got to Seattle, when he was with New Orleans last year, when they had injuries abound, defensive coordinators were like, that guy can put some stuff together, and he's not necessarily scheme specific. He can work around his quarterback's talent. So you take Fernando Mendoza and you build around him. They can play pin the tail on the donkey with as many positions that they have to upgrade. But if you start with a quarterback, use some of that free agent money to stock him with some offensive linemen. Again, that's what the teams in the Super Bowl and the playoffs have done. You absolutely, if he's your guy, if you figure he's your guy, I mean, there's a lot more evaluation coming. As we know, between now and the draft, he's going to get picked apart.
Yeah.
But if he's your guy, you go with him.
I like that.
Well, then you got to make the next step, right?
Yep.
So you got to put a line around him. We were just talking. We were talking to Marcus Allen, right? You got to put a line in front of him. The Raiders line really struggled last year. Can we look at a blueprint like the Seattle Seahawks, where they went out and got a couple Pro Bowlers? Like, do you go through free agency? Do you draft? What model would you use to build that line?
Both. Okay, so you look at, let's take a team like the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
Right? They went out and got Caleb Williams 2 years ago. He went through it last year. What do? Free agency. They go out and they get 3 veteran offensive linemen. What happens? They win the division. They go deep into the playoffs. The Patriots drafted 2 offensive linemen, started them together. They're in the Super Bowl. You just look at how some teams, Seattle Seahawks, they draft Gray Zabel, the guard. They put some free agent players on that offensive line. They strengthen it. There's ways to go do it, but you have to identify who fits into your scheme and not just a name. And you decide this is how we're going to run our offense with this quarterback skill set, and we're going to build around it. But the teams that win have the offensive line. And the prime example, the Lions' offensive line for years was really strong. They lost 3 guys from that group this year.
Yeah.
You see how they kind of fell off the shelf a little bit.
Win in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
The Raiders have a huge free agency coming up and some cap space. What are your thoughts on,
their approach, or if you were sitting in that seat, what are some of your thoughts?
I really think, again, offensive line, especially you got a running back like Ashton Genty. None of us really know how good he can be because he was getting hit as soon as he got the ball handed off to him this year. But look, offensive line, defensive line. The more and more you see the teams that go deeper in the playoffs this year, it's the lines of scrimmage.
Oh, yeah.
Get some more bounce on the outside, though. Like, you trade away Jacoby Myers. I know that's a sick topic with the Raiders.
That was
because
tough.
other than Rashad Jennings, he was the best in-season trade a team got in terms of what he did down in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
But he changed your offense.
And Devontae Adams goes to the playoffs with the Rams. You know, it's kind of tough where you go back and say, look, we
Only
need
led
to,
the NFL in receiving touchdowns, too.
Right, yeah. I mean, look, it is what it is. And that's the tough part. I think that's why the Raiders are looking for stability now.
Yeah.
Because when you have the change in the regimes, constantly you have guys with different opinions.
Yes.
And one group thinks you trade away Devontae Adams, the next group thinks it's good to do. You need the consistency. And even though the Patriots are not a team that has had the consistency, they actually, thank you, Barron. Chivalry's not dead.
Happens.
That happens. The Patriots are a team that hasn't had consistency, right? They bring in a new coach and like instant winner. How important though, and you've covered this league for so long, is that having the same regime making the same decisions for multiple years? How valuable is that?
It's important if it, works.
That was what I was.
You can stick with guys, and if it's mediocrity and you think that's what you want, that works. I mean, and I say this, like if you look at the Cowboys, other than maybe some of the head coaches, the majority of that front office and ownership group and the leaders, it's been the same, and they've been like good.
Yeah.
For how long?
Yeah.
But then you have a culture like Green Bay, where you could change a superstar quarterback, right? But you bring in a coach, you let him develop it, and their success level is sustained. There were 10 head coaching vacancies, right?
Right.
There are only 2 or 3 that were surprises. Mike Tomlin, John Harbaugh. You look at the other 6, 7, or 8, those are the teams every 3 or 4 years, which means they don't have an identifiable identity in their building.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I hate saying this, but I mean, the Raiders, a team I grew up loving, their identity is silver and black.
Mm-hmm.
But what type of culture is? Are you a tough team anymore? Are you a fast team? That's what they've got to figure out.
Because the talent is there. I mean, as you see, Robert Spillane in the Super Bowl, Jason in the
We
Super
can't
Bowl.
look back anymore. We got to stop
not
looking back, guys.
But just saying
we got to
that
stop looking. We're looking forward.
There's always been talent, right? And we've always had, talented people. My question was, coaching, right?
Yeah.
Like how important is coaching, and how important is like letting it ride out or completely blowing it up and turning it over? Because you see, Pete had 1 year, but like that's happening all over the league pretty much.
It's happening, but here's what I don't like when people talk about the Raiders kind of not knowing what they want. They had it going with John Gruden, right? He had really been building something, and then when that unfortunate situation happened, that's when they got on that hamster wheel of, Rich Bisaccia, Antonio Pierce. Look, those guys played hard for Antonio Pierce, man. I mean, you can say what you want. They played their butts off. They just didn't have the talent to compete, and then decided to go in another direction. Now they're going in another direction again. They have got to find their coach and let him grow and develop. Let him make his mistakes if it's year 1. But you know what? Let him succeed. Mm-hmm. We saw what Kellen Moore did with New Orleans this year. They struggled at times to win ball games, but they got their quarterback.
Yep.
They started to come up with an identity, and now they've got the foundation to build. Maybe that's the pace you put them on. Don't necessarily have sky-high expectations, but have expectations.
We have been talking about, we've been here a couple of days, we've been talking about the offense the whole time, right? Look at the 2 teams in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
What do they do well? They play defense.
Yes, they do.
Right, and I don't care what you say, as long as I've been doing this, defense still wins championships.
Yes.
And the Raiders have this kind of leader on defense, and then no tough defense around them. They have this identity of Max Crosby, but nobody around him to kind of personify that. How much focus should be spent on the defense? Or, when our colleague James Jones, he goes, if I was running this team, I would pick one side and build it up each year. I would we're going to get the quarterback this year, hopefully, and then you start to build that up. But they do have a lot of money. They do have a lot of picks. You got to do something with this defense.
Well, true. And Amber, that's what they said, where you can spend your free agent money.
Yeah.
Right? Who's going to be your stud on each side of the ball? Because if the best free agents are on defense, go get them.
Yeah.
And draft your offense. We see teams do this all the time now, where they will have a complete defensive draft because they've stocked up in free agency on offense, if that's where the best players are to build your team. But you're absolutely right. They've got to build up this defense. Yeah. I mean, it was
Yeah.
Hey, BD, the eye in the sky don't lie. They put some bad film out there. And Patrick Graham is a heck of a coach.
Yeah, he is. He's
a really good coach. Yeah. So they both sides of the ball, like I said, you can play pin the tail on the donkey and throw darts at every position that they need to upgrade. There's only 2 or 3, tight end, defensive end, and we don't know what's going to happen with Max, and we don't know what Ashton Genty is yet.
Yeah. Well, you look at Mike Vrabel, and he gets 30 new players on that roster, so you can turn a roster over. All right, speaking of good players, we're going to play a little game with you. Check that out.
Oh, yeah, here we go.
Okay, so we'll put it up on the screen as well.
Yeah.
You get to build the all-time Raiders team. You got $10.
$10.
One position each.
Not 11.
No,
Okay.
I mean, Marcus Allen was asking for $11 forever because he couldn't figure it out.
Okay, so, all right, so quarterback, how is Derek only $1, by the way?
It's a great value.
I don't know, but
Look at it as great value.
I'm taking Derek at the 1.
Okay,
Derek
$1.
at $1. I am going with Bo Jackson at 3. You're with
Come
me
on,
on
man.
that.
Let's go.
We're going with Bo Jackson.
that's 4.
So wide receiver, do I have to take 2?
No, you got to take a
take
tight
one.
end and a wide
One.
receiver.
Tight end, wide receiver. Okay, so I've got spent $5.
You spent $5.
My
$4.
tight end,
You
my
spent
$4.
$4.
Brock is only $2. I'm taking Brock Bowers right there. So I've got 4. So I've got
Ooh, that's
spent $6.
You got
Yeah,
I'm going Tim.
Tim
I'm good. I
Brown.
got $1 left over.
That's tough.
I'm going James Jones too.
Ooh.
How are we doing,
You
James?
can't,
I
you
know.
can't
I
do
got
James
James
Jones
Jones.
and
Come
you said
on.
I
He
got
had one
James
do-
Jones.
he
I've got
$1
$1 left and
left.
James
And
$1.
Oh, he had a
So I'm
$1
stacking.
left.
You got 5.
Okay, so I got Derek,
Look at
Derek,
this guy.
Bo, Tim and James, and Brock.
Oh, that's
You
no,
should
no,
be
no,
a
no, no,
GM.
no, no. That's not possible.
It is.
1 plus
How
3.
are we going to do Derek
is
for
4.
$1
4.
and JJ
Plus
for
4.
$1?
4 is 8.
Plus 2.
Plus
Oh,
2
yeah.
for 2 for Brock.
Sorry, I am a math person, and so
We
when I
did that in rough.
see when I see people
8,
who try to take
9,
advantage
10.
of the game,
No, how did I take
you
advantage
only
of it?
have $10.
You,
Oh,
you don't
10,
have the
I got
extra
$11.
dollar.
Okay.
You don't have the extra
All
dollar.
right, well, JJ's
He's off.
he's in Cancun.
We love you, JJ.
We love you, JJ.
Sorry,
I'm
not
taking
in
Tim.
there.
And you know
Yeah,
why I'm
sorry.
taking Tim over JJ? Because Tim can return kicks and punts too.
There it is.
That's true.
Give
But
more
if you
bang
ask
for my
JJ, he
buck.
would tell you he could do that too.
I'm sure he could.
In his mind. All right. Thanks for being here, Steve Wyche.
Thank
Always
you.
good to hang out with you.
Appreciate it.
Have fun this week.
Yeah.
Well, that'll do it for us here at Media Row. It's been a fun week hanging out with you, Baron Davis.
Thank you, Amber. You're such a legend. Thank you for introducing me to this amazing event. Fun guests, fun times.
Really
Thank
good
you.
times. Yeah, good times. I like the wrestlers and the UFC fighters. That was
I know.
Seth Rollins. It was so much fun for me to hang out with non-football people and my NBA superstar here. You know everybody in the sports world, I swear. You're a big hit.
You know,
You've been
I
around.
love people, right? I'm a big fan. I'm a big kid.
All right, and thanks to all of our guests that stopped by here at Media Row. Hey, coming up next week, we might have a new coach of the Raiders. Can't wait to see you guys then. But for now, we're signing off from Super Bowl in San Francisco. It's Raiders Live from Media Row. We'll see you next time.
Raiders.